The morning sun cast long shadows across the dusty streets of Ouagadougou as Ibrahim Traoré adjusted his military beret and stepped out of his modest government vehicle. At 34 years old, the young captain had already transformed Burkina Faso in ways many thought impossible. The September coup that brought him to power wasn't just another military takeover in West Africa. It was the beginning of a revolution that would shake the foundations of international trade. Traoré walked through the corridors of the presidential palace, his boots echoing against the marble floors. Unlike his predecessors who surrounded themselves with luxury, Ibrahim had kept the palace simple and functional. The walls displayed maps of Burkina Faso's mineral deposits, agricultural zones, and infrastructure projects. Today, however, his attention focused on a single document that would change everything. The file marked Project Vapor contained details of the most ambitious industrial initiative in Burkina Faso's history. The country needed steam boilers, massive industrial-grade equipment that would power textile factories, food processing plants, and mining operations. For decades, Burkina Faso had imported such equipment from China, Germany, and Turkey, draining precious foreign currency reserves while remaining dependent on external suppliers. Minister of Industry Fatou Ouedraogo knocked gently on the door before entering. She carried another stack of documents, her face showing both excitement and concern. "Captain," she said, using the title Ibrahim preferred over president, "the feasibility studies are complete." "The numbers are even better than we projected." Ibrahim looked up from the report spread across his desk. The statistics painted a clear picture of opportunity. Burkina Faso possessed abundant iron ore deposits in the eastern regions, coal reserves near Kaya, and skilled metalworkers whose talents had been underutilized for generations. The missing pieces were technology transfer, initial capital investment, and most importantly, international recognition of Burkina Faso as a serious industrial player. The traditional approach would be to seek World Bank loans, Fatou continued, but their conditions would tie us to specific suppliers and limit our manufacturing flexibility. We've seen this pattern across Africa. Countries become assembly points for foreign components rather than true manufacturers. Ibrahim stood and walked to the window overlooking the city. Street vendors sold goods along the roadside while motorcycles weaved through traffic. Young people sat under trees, many unemployed despite their education and skills. This steam boiler project wasn't just about industrial equipment. It was about dignity, self-reliance, and proving that African nations could compete in global manufacturing. "What's our alternative path?" Ibrahim asked, though he already knew Fatou's answer would align with his own vision. "We build everything ourselves," she replied firmly. "Raw materials extraction, component manufacturing, assembly, testing, and quality certification. We create the entire supply chain within our borders." The challenges were enormous. International competitors had decades of experience, established client relationships, and sophisticated marketing networks. Major global manufacturers like Babcock and Wilcox, Cleaver Brooks, and Bosch had dominated the steam boiler market for over a century. Their products were installed in factories from Indonesia to Mexico, backed by extensive service networks and proven reliability records. Yet Ibrahim saw opportunity where others saw obstacles. Global supply chain disruptions from recent years had taught businesses the value of diversified suppliers. Rising labor costs in traditional manufacturing centers made African production increasingly competitive. Most importantly, growing demand from Africa's expanding industrial sector meant the market was large enough to support new entrants. The technical specifications were daunting. Steam boilers required precise engineering tolerances, advanced metallurgy knowledge, and sophisticated control systems. Safety standards were non-negotiable. A faulty boiler could cause explosions, deaths, and environmental disasters that would destroy any manufacturer's reputation permanently. Ibrahim's team had spent months consulting with retired engineers from various countries, studying technical manuals and analyzing competitor products. They discovered that steam boiler technology, while complex, wasn't impossible to master with proper dedication and investment. The core principles involved controlled combustion, heat exchange, and pressure management, concepts that talented engineers could learn and adapt. Dr. Amadou Sanogo, Burkina Faso's leading mechanical engineer, had been secretly developing prototypes in a converted warehouse outside Bobo Dioulasso. His team included graduates from technical schools in Ouagadougou, former employees of defunct manufacturing companies, and skilled welders who had worked on mining equipment repairs. Together, they represented Burkina Faso's hidden industrial potential. The first prototype steam boiler was small, designed for a textile factory that processed cotton grown in Burkina Faso's fertile southwestern region. Initial tests revealed problems with pressure regulation and heat distribution, but each failure provided valuable learning experiences. Dr. Sanogo's team methodically addressed each issue, improving designs and manufacturing processes. International skepticism was immediate and harsh when rumors of the project began circulating. Industry publications dismissed the initiative as another African pipe dream, while established manufacturers questioned Burkina Faso's technical capabilities. Some Western diplomats privately expressed concerns about quality control and safety standards, worried that substandard products could damage regional industrial development. Ibrahim used this skepticism as motivation rather than discouragement. He understood that breakthrough innovations often faced initial ridicule before gaining acceptance. The aviation industry had once dismissed the Wright brothers, while established computer companies initially ignored personal computer pioneers. Success would require perseverance, continuous improvement, and strategic marketing. The project's scope expanded beyond simple manufacturing. Ibrahim envisioned training centers that would educate technicians from across West Africa, service networks that could maintain equipment throughout the region, and research facilities that would continue improving steam boiler technology. This wasn't just about competing with existing manufacturers, it was about creating a new center of industrial excellence in West Africa. Funding came from multiple sources. Government mineral revenues provided initial capital, while partnerships with local banks offered additional financing. Rather than seeking foreign loans with restrictive conditions, Ibrahim structured the financing to maintain complete control over the project's direction and priorities. The location chosen for the main manufacturing facility was Koudougou, a city with existing metalworking traditions and proximity to transportation networks. Local communities welcomed the project enthusiastically, understanding that success would bring jobs, skills development, and economic growth to the region. As autumn approached, Ibrahim knew the next phase would be crucial. Producing functional prototypes was one achievement, but scaling up to commercial production while maintaining quality standards would test every aspect of the project. International buyers would demand proof of reliability, competitive pricing, and long-term support capabilities. Standing in the palace courtyard as evening approached, Ibrahim reflected on the magnitude of what they were attempting. Burkina Faso was challenging established global supply chains, betting its reputation on unproven technology, and risking significant resources on an ambitious vision. Yet the alternative, continued dependence on foreign suppliers and missed opportunities for industrial development, was unacceptable for a leader determined to transform his country's economic future. The massive construction site in Koudougou buzzed with activity, as workers poured concrete foundations for what would become West Africa's first indigenous steam boiler manufacturing facility. Heavy machinery imported from various countries created a symphony of industrial sounds, diesel generators humming, crane engines roaring, and welding torches crackling as metal structures took shape. Dr. Amadou Sanogo stood on a temporary wooden platform, surveying the progress with satisfaction mixed with anxiety. 6 months had passed since Ibrahim Traoré approved full-scale production, and the pressure to deliver results grew daily. International competitors had begun paying attention to Burkina Faso's activities, sending representatives to gather intelligence about this unexpected challenger to their established markets. The facility's design incorporated lessons learned from visits to manufacturing plants in several countries. Unlike traditional factories that relied heavily on imported components, this facility would integrate every stage of production under one roof. Raw materials would enter at one end, undergo processing through various departments, and emerge as completed steam boilers ready for installation. Local communities had embraced the project with enthusiasm that surprised even Ibrahim's most optimistic advisors. Young people who had previously considered emigrating to Europe or America now lined up for technical training programs. Experienced metalworkers shared their knowledge with engineering graduates, creating a unique blend of practical skills and theoretical understanding. Fatou Ouedraogo arrived at the construction site carrying urgent news from the capital. Market intelligence reports indicated that several major international manufacturers were reducing their prices in West African markets, apparently attempting to discourage local competition before it could establish itself. This aggressive pricing strategy threatened to undermine the economic viability of Burkina Faso's initiative. They're offering 20% discounts on bulk orders, Fatou explained to Dr. Sanogo and the assembled project managers. Some clients who had expressed interest in our products are now reconsidering their options. The team gathered in the temporary site office, a simple structure with corrugated metal walls and basic furniture. Maps and technical drawings covered every available wall space, while prototype components sat on workbenches throughout the room. The atmosphere grew tense as everyone understood the implications of this new competitive challenge. Dr. Sanogo opened a laptop computer and displayed comparative cost analyses his team had prepared. Burkina Faso's manufacturing costs were actually lower than established competitors in many categories. Local labor rates were competitive, raw materials were abundant, and transportation costs to West African markets were minimal. The challenge wasn't economics, it was credibility and market acceptance. We need demonstration projects that prove our capabilities beyond any doubt, Dr. Sanogo declared. Success stories that international buyers cannot ignore or dismiss as publicity stunts. The first major opportunity came from an unexpected source. Ghana's largest textile manufacturer, facing urgent replacement needs for aging steam boilers in their processing facility, contacted Burkina Faso after learning about the project through regional business networks. Their existing equipment was German-manufactured, over 15 years old, and requiring increasingly expensive maintenance from European technicians. Ibrahim personally traveled to Accra for negotiations with the textile company's management. The meeting took place in a modern conference room overlooking the Atlantic Ocean, where Burkina Faso's young leader faced skeptical executives who had decades of experience with international suppliers. Captain Traoré, the company's chief executive officer, began, "We appreciate innovation and support African industrial development. However, our production schedules cannot accommodate equipment failures. Steam boilers are critical infrastructure. When they fail, entire factories shut down." Ibrahim understood their concerns completely. He had prepared for this conversation by studying every aspect of steam boiler reliability, maintenance requirements, and performance standards. His presentation included detailed technical specifications, quality control procedures, and comprehensive warranty terms that matched or exceeded industry standards. "We're not asking you to take risks," Ibrahim replied confidently. "We're offering you the opportunity to evaluate proven technology at competitive prices with local support networks that can respond within hours rather than weeks." The textile executive skepticism began softening as Ibrahim presented case studies of successful installations in Burkina Faso's own industrial facilities. The prototype steam boilers had been operating for 8 months without significant problems, maintaining consistent pressure levels and fuel efficiency rates that met international benchmarks. Negotiations continued for 3 days, with Ibrahim demonstrating detailed knowledge of technical specifications, maintenance protocols, and operational economics that impressed the Ghanaian business leaders. By the final meeting, discussions had shifted from whether to purchase Burkina Faso's steam boilers to determining delivery schedules and service arrangements. The contract signed in Accra represented more than a commercial transaction. It was validation of Burkina Faso's manufacturing capabilities by sophisticated international buyers. News of the agreement spread quickly throughout West African business communities, generating inquiries from other potential clients who had previously dismissed the project as unrealistic. Back in Koudougou, the manufacturing facility neared completion as workers installed specialized equipment for precision metalworking, automated welding systems, and computerized quality control testing. The production floor layout followed principles learned from studying efficient manufacturers worldwide, with workflow designed to minimize handling time while maximizing quality inspection opportunities. Training programs for factory workers had produced impressive results. Young Burkinabe demonstrated remarkable aptitude for precision manufacturing techniques, often mastering complex procedures faster than their instructors had anticipated. Cultural traditions of metalworking and craftsmanship provided an excellent foundation for modern industrial skills. Quality control systems exceeded international standards, with multiple inspection points throughout the manufacturing process. Every component underwent testing before assembly. Completed units were pressure tested under controlled conditions, and final inspections verified compliance with safety regulations from multiple countries. Dr. Sanogo insisted that Burkina Faso's products would be indisputably superior to competing equipment in reliability and performance. International attention intensified as production capabilities became undeniable. Trade delegations from several African countries visited Koudougou to evaluate partnership opportunities, while representatives from established manufacturers attempted to understand how Burkina Faso had achieved such rapid progress in complex technology development. The most significant validation came from unexpected sources. German engineering consultants hired by a Nigerian company to evaluate steam boiler suppliers included Burkina Faso in their assessment after initially dismissing the country as unqualified. Their technical report, obtained through industry contacts, rated Burkina Faso's manufacturing capabilities as surprisingly sophisticated and product quality as comparable to established European manufacturers. Supply chain partnerships developed with regional suppliers created additional economic benefits throughout West Africa. Iron ore from Burkina Faso's eastern mines underwent processing at the Koudougou facility, while specialized components were sourced from manufacturers in Ghana, Senegal, and Ivory Coast. This regional integration approach reduced costs while building relationships that would support long-term market development. Training and education programs expanded beyond immediate production needs to serve broader industrial development goals. The Technical Institute established near the manufacturing facility began offering courses in advanced metallurgy, precision machining, and industrial automation. Students came from across West Africa, creating a regional center of excellence that would support industrial growth for decades. As the first commercial production units neared completion, Ibrahim prepared for the most challenging phase of the project. Manufacturing successful prototypes was one achievement, but competing effectively in international markets would require sophisticated marketing strategies, reliable service networks, and continuous innovation to stay ahead of established competitors who were already adapting their strategies to counter this unexpected challenge from West Africa. The first commercial steam boiler rolled off the production line in Koudougou on a crisp morning in March, its polished steel surface gleaming under the factory's fluorescent lights. Workers gathered around the massive unit, their faces beaming with pride as they witnessed the culmination of months of intense preparation and training. This wasn't just industrial equipment. It was proof that African engineering could compete with the world's best manufacturers. Ibrahim Traoré arrived at the factory accompanied by international journalists, government officials, and business representatives from across West Africa. The media attention had grown exponentially as news of Burkina Faso's industrial breakthrough spread through international networks. CNN, BBC, and Al Jazeera had sent correspondents to document what many described as the most significant African manufacturing development in decades. The steam boiler destined for Ghana's textile facility underwent final inspection procedures as cameras recorded every detail. Quality control technicians verified pressure ratings, tested safety systems, and confirmed that all specifications met international standards. Dr. Sanogo explained the manufacturing process to visitors, highlighting innovations that improved efficiency while reducing production costs. Traditional manufacturers rely on complex supply chains spanning multiple countries, Dr. Sanogo told the assembled journalists. Our integrated approach allows us to control quality at every stage while responding quickly to customer requirements. When a client needs modifications or repairs, we can implement changes immediately rather than waiting for approvals from distant headquarters. The competitive response from established manufacturers had intensified beyond simple price reductions. Several European companies launched marketing campaigns emphasizing their long track records and questioning whether African-manufactured equipment could match proven reliability standards. Industry publications ran articles analyzing the potential risks of purchasing steam boilers from unproven suppliers. Yet, These attacks backfired by generating additional publicity for Burkina Faso's achievements. Business leaders across Africa began asking why they should automatically assume European equipment was superior to locally manufactured alternatives. The narrative shifted from "can African countries manufacture complex industrial equipment?" to "why haven't we been doing this already?" Orders began arriving from unexpected markets as word spread about Burkina Faso's capabilities. A palm oil processing company in Cameroon requested quotations for replacing their aging steam boilers, while mining operations in Mali inquired about custom units designed for harsh desert conditions. Each inquiry represented validation of the project's commercial viability and market potential. The Ghanaian installation became a crucial test case watched throughout the industry. Teams of technicians traveled from Koudougou to Accra, transporting specialized equipment and expertise needed for professional installation. The textile company's engineers observed every step of the process, comparing Burkina Faso's procedures with those used by previous European suppliers. Installation proceeded flawlessly, with Burkina Faso's technicians demonstrating superior knowledge of local conditions and requirements. Unlike foreign technicians who often struggled with regional logistics and communication, the Burkinabe team navigated challenges smoothly while maintaining excellent relationships with the client's staff. Their cultural familiarity and language skills provided significant advantages over international competitors. The steam boiler's initial operation exceeded performance expectations, maintaining consistent pressure levels while consuming less fuel than the old German equipment it replaced. Production efficiency at the textile facility improved measurably, with reduced downtime and lower operating costs that quickly justified the investment decision. Word of these results spread rapidly through West African industrial networks. Dr. Sanogo established a service network that could respond to maintenance needs within 24 hours throughout the region. Service technicians stationed in major cities carried common spare parts and possessed comprehensive training in troubleshooting procedures. This local support capability provided substantial advantages over competitors whose nearest service centers were thousands of miles away. In Europe or Asia, market research revealed growing demand for medium-sized steam boilers suited to African industrial conditions. Many facilities required units smaller than those typically manufactured by major international companies, who focused on large-scale installations for massive factories. Burkina Faso's flexible manufacturing approach allowed customization of equipment for specific applications at competitive prices. Theory. Success story attracted attention from international development organizations previously skeptical of African manufacturing capabilities. World Bank representatives visited Koudougou to evaluate the project's potential as a model for industrial development throughout the continent. Their preliminary assessment praised the initiative's innovative approach to technology transfer and local capacity. Training programs expanded to accommodate growing demand for skilled technicians throughout West Africa. Young people traveled from Nigeria, Senegal, and Ivory Coast to study advanced manufacturing techniques at the technical institute established near the factory. Graduates returned to their home countries with expertise that supported broader industrial development initiatives. Competition intensified as established manufacturers realized that Burkina Faso represented a serious long-term threat to their African market dominance. Several companies offered attractive partnership proposals, suggesting joint ventures or licensing agreements that would incorporate Burkina Faso into their existing supply chains. Ibrahim rejected these overtures, understanding that such arrangements would limit his country's independence and growth potential. Regional integration accelerated as other African countries expressed interest in establishing similar manufacturing capabilities. Technical delegations from Kenya, Ethiopia, and South Africa visited Koudougou to study production methods and explore collaboration opportunities. These discussions led to preliminary agreements for technology sharing and joint research initiatives. The facility's success prompted expansion planning for additional production capacity in new product lines. Market analysis indicated strong demand for related industrial equipment, including heat exchangers, pressure vessels, and industrial furnaces. Burkina Faso's proven manufacturing capabilities could be applied to these products with relatively modest additional investment. Financial performance exceeded projections as orders continued increasing while production costs Decreased through efficiency improvements and economies of scale. The project generated substantial revenue for government finances, created hundreds of well-paying jobs, and stimulated economic growth throughout the surrounding region. Local suppliers benefited from increased demand for materials and services, creating a multiplier effect that supported broader economic development. International recognition came through industry awards and certifications that validated Burkina Faso's manufacturing standards. The facility received ISO certification for quality management systems, while products met safety standards required for export to European and North American markets. These achievements opened opportunities for global expansion beyond the initial African market. Focus Ibrahim's vision of economic transformation through industrial development was becoming reality faster than even optimistic supporters had anticipated. The steam boiler project demonstrated that African countries could master complex technologies, compete effectively in international markets, and build sustainable industrial bases that reduced dependence on foreign suppliers. As winter approached, preparations began for the most ambitious phase yet, establishing international sales networks that would position Burkina Faso as a global competitor in steam boiler manufacturing. Success would require sophisticated marketing strategies, reliable international partnerships, and continuous innovation to stay ahead of established competitors who were already developing countermeasures to this unexpected challenge from West Africa. The International Trade Exhibition in Dubai buzzed with activity as representatives from hundreds of companies displayed their latest industrial equipment to buyers from around the world. Among the gleaming displays from established manufacturers, like Siemens, General Electric, and Mitsubishi, a modest booth bearing the flag of Burkina Faso attracted unexpected attention from curious visitors who had never associated the West African nation with advanced manufacturing. Ibrahim Traoré walked through the exhibition hall, observing how competitors presented their products while noting the surprised reactions when visitors discovered that Burkina Faso was exhibiting industrial steam boilers. The presence at this prestigious international event represented a calculated risk. Success would establish credibility in global markets, while failure could damage the project's reputation permanently. The Burkina Faso display featured a cross-section model of their latest steam boiler design, allowing visitors to examine internal components and manufacturing quality. Technical specifications displayed alongside the unit showed performance ratings that matched or exceeded competing products, while pricing information revealed significant cost advantages that attracted serious inquiries from potential buyers. Dr. Sanogo had accompanied a team of technical experts and sales representatives to handle the sophisticated questions from international buyers. Their presentations emphasized reliability, local service support, and customization capabilities that larger manufacturers couldn't match. The team's deep technical knowledge and cultural sensitivity impressed visitors who had expected less professional presentations from an African company. Interest came from unexpected markets beyond Africa. Manufacturing companies in Southeast Asia, Latin America, and Eastern Europe sent representatives to evaluate Burkina Faso's equipment as alternatives to expensive European and American suppliers. Rising transportation costs and supply chain uncertainties had created opportunities for new suppliers who could offer reliable equipment at competitive prices. A delegation from Bangladesh's textile industry spent over an hour at the Burkina Faso booth, discussing requirements for steam boilers that could operate efficiently in tropical conditions while minimizing maintenance needs. Their existing equipment from European suppliers required frequent repairs and expensive spare parts that strained their operational budgets. Burkina Faso's representatives offered solutions that addressed these specific concerns. The most significant breakthrough came from an unexpected source. Indonesian palm oil processors, facing urgent replacement needs for aging steam boilers in multiple facilities, had been frustrated by long delivery times and high prices from traditional suppliers. Burkina Faso's ability to customize equipment for tropical conditions while providing rapid delivery made their proposal extremely attractive. Contract negotiations with the Indonesian company took place in a Dubai hotel conference room, with both sides represented by technical experts and legal advisors. The deal involved supplying 12 medium-sized steam boilers over 18 months, With performance guarantees and comprehensive service support, success would establish Burkina Faso's credibility in Asian markets and provide a foundation for further expansion. The Indonesians had conducted thorough research on Burkina Faso's manufacturing capabilities, including site visits by their engineering consultants and discussions with existing customers in Ghana and other West African countries. Their due diligence process validated the quality and reliability claims made by Ibrahim's team, building confidence in the partnership arrangement. Agreement terms included technology transfer provisions that would allow Indonesian technicians to receive training in Burkina Faso, creating long-term relationships beyond simple equipment supply. This approach aligned with Ibrahim's vision of building sustainable international partnerships rather than merely exporting products to distant markets. News of the Indonesian contract generated immediate international attention, with industry publications analyzing how a West African manufacturer had successfully competed against established global suppliers. The achievement demonstrated that developing countries could master complex technologies and compete effectively in sophisticated international markets. Competitive responses escalated as major manufacturers realized that Burkina Faso represented a serious threat to their market dominance. Several companies launched aggressive pricing strategies in regions where Burkina Faso was gaining traction, while others attempted to recruit key personnel from the Koudougou facility with attractive employment offers. Ibrahim addressed these challenges by investing heavily in employee development and retention programs. Technical staff received opportunities for advanced training, competitive compensation packages, and equity participation in the company's success. The approach created a loyal workforce committed to Burkina Faso's long-term success rather than short-term employment opportunities elsewhere. Production capacity expansion became urgent as orders exceeded manufacturing capabilities. Construction began on a second production facility in Bobo Dioulasso, designed to manufacture specialized steam boilers for specific industries and applications. The new facility would incorporate lessons learned from the original factory, while adding capabilities for larger and more complex equipment. Supply chain development accelerated as demand increased for high-quality materials and components. Partnerships with regional suppliers created networks that reduced costs while improving delivery reliability. Local production of certain components eliminated dependence on foreign suppliers, while creating additional employment opportunities throughout West Africa. Quality control systems underwent continuous improvement to meet increasingly demanding international standards. Investment in advanced testing equipment and certification processes ensured that products met requirements for export to developed markets. These improvements supported premium pricing strategies that improved profitability while maintaining competitive advantages. Research and development activities expanded to address emerging market opportunities and technological advances. Engineers worked on designs for more efficient steam boilers that consumed less fuel while producing higher output levels. Innovation became a competitive advantage that differentiated Burkina Faso's products from standard offerings by established manufacturers. International partnerships developed with companies that could provide complementary products and services. Relationships with engineering firms, installation contractors, and maintenance service providers created comprehensive solutions that appealed to buyers seeking single-source suppliers. These partnerships expanded Burkina Faso's capabilities without requiring massive additional investments. The success attracted attention from international investors interested in participating in Burkina Faso's industrial development. Several investment funds specializing in emerging markets contacted Ibrahim's government about providing capital for expansion in exchange for equity participation. These discussions opened possibilities for accelerated growth while maintaining local control over strategic decisions. Export financing arrangements with regional development banks provided customers with attractive payment terms that facilitated larger orders. Access to competitive financing became a significant competitive advantage, particularly when competing against suppliers who required immediate payment or expensive commercial loans. Training programs evolved into a regional center of excellence that attracted students from throughout Africa and beyond. The Technical Institute's reputation for producing skilled industrial technicians created a pipeline of talent that supported continued expansion while generating additional revenue streams through education services. Media coverage shifted from skeptical reporting about African manufacturing capabilities to analysis of how Burkina Faso had achieved such remarkable success in international markets. Business schools began studying the project as a case example of successful industrial development strategy, while governments throughout Africa expressed interest in replicating similar initiatives. As the Dubai exhibition concluded, Ibrahim reflected on how dramatically perceptions had changed since the project began. Burkina Faso had transformed from an unknown African country to a recognized player in global steam boiler manufacturing. Yet the greatest challenges lay ahead as the company prepared to fulfill growing international orders while maintaining the quality standards and customer service excellence that had created this success. The massive cargo ship departed from the port of Tema in Ghana, its hold containing 12 steam boilers manufactured in Burkina Faso and destined for palm oil processing facilities across Indonesia. This shipment represented more than commercial success. It symbolized Africa's emergence as a serious player in global manufacturing markets that had been dominated by developed countries for over a century. Ibrahim Traoré stood on the dock watching the vessel disappear beyond the horizon, accompanied by Dr. Sanogo and other key team members who had made this historic moment possible. The sight of Burkina Faso manufactured industrial equipment heading to Asian markets would have seemed impossible just 2 years earlier. Yet here was undeniable proof of what determined African countries could achieve. Back in Koudougou, both production facilities operated at full capacity to meet growing international demand. Orders had arrived from 15 countries across 4 continents, with inquiries coming from potential customers in markets previously considered impossible for African manufacturers. The waiting list for delivery extended over 8 months, creating opportunities to optimize production schedules while maintaining premium pricing. The Indonesian installation process became a critical test, watched closely by industry observers worldwide. Teams of Burkinabe technicians traveled to Java and Sumatra, working alongside local engineers to install and commission the steam boilers in challenging tropical conditions. Their expertise in handling humid environments and corrosive atmospheric conditions provided advantages over competitors from temperate climates. Initial performance results exceeded expectations, with the Indonesian facilities reporting improved efficiency levels and reduced operating costs compared to their previous European manufactured equipment. Fuel consumption decreased by 15% while production output increased measurably, validating the engineering innovations that Dr. Sanogo's team had incorporated into their designs. Word of the successful Indonesian installations spread rapidly through Asian industrial networks, generating inquiries from companies in Thailand, Vietnam, and Malaysia, who faced similar challenges with aging steam boiler systems. The tropical performance advantages became a unique selling proposition that differentiated Burkina Faso's products from competitors designed for different climatic conditions. Regional integration accelerated as other West African countries expressed serious interest in establishing complementary manufacturing capabilities. Senegal proposed joint development of specialized components, while Ghana offered to manufacture certain materials needed for steam boiler production. These partnerships created regional supply chains that reduced costs while strengthening economic integration across West Africa. The most significant breakthrough came when the European Union announced that Burkina Faso's manufacturing facility had received certification for supplying steam boilers to EU markets. This achievement required meeting stringent safety, environmental, and quality standards that many established manufacturers struggled to satisfy. The certification opened access to the world's most demanding industrial markets. Competition from established manufacturers reached new levels of intensity as they realized the permanent nature of the threat posed by Burkina Faso's success. Several major companies formed strategic alliances aimed at preventing further market share losses to African competitors, while others attempted to acquire Burkina Faso's technology through licensing agreements or partnership proposals. Ibrahim rejected all acquisition offers, understanding that maintaining independence was crucial for long-term success. Instead of selling technology to competitors, Burkina Faso focused on continuous innovation that kept their products ahead of established manufacturers who were struggling to adapt to changing market conditions and customer requirements. The second production facility in Bobo Dioulasso began operations with advanced automation systems that improved both efficiency and quality consistency. Robotics technology handled precision welding operations, while computerized systems monitored every aspect of the manufacturing process. These investments positioned Burkina Faso at the forefront of modern industrial manufacturing techniques. Workforce development programs expanded to meet growing demand for skilled technicians throughout the region. The Technical Institute established partnerships with universities in several countries, creating exchange programs that brought international students to study in Burkina Faso, while sending Burkinabe students abroad for advanced training. These relationships built lasting connections that supported international business development. Financial performance exceeded all projections as international sales generated substantial foreign currency revenues for Burkina Faso's economy. The project had become the country's second-largest export industry after gold mining, contributing significantly to government revenues while creating thousands of direct and indirect employment opportunities. Innovation continued with development of next-generation steam boiler designs that incorporated artificial intelligence for predictive maintenance and remote monitoring capabilities. These smart systems could diagnose potential problems before failures occurred, reducing downtime and maintenance costs for customers, while differentiating Burkina Faso's products from traditional equipment. International recognition came through industry awards that acknowledged Burkina Faso's achievements in manufacturing excellence and innovation. The facility received the African Manufacturing Excellence Award, while Ibrahim personally received recognition as Industrial Leader of the Year from several international organizations. These honors validated the project's global significance. Supply chain resilience became a critical competitive advantage, as global disruptions affected traditional manufacturers who relied on complex international networks. Burkina Faso's integrated production approach and regional supplier relationships provided stability and reliability that customers increasingly valued over pure cost considerations. Market expansion accelerated into new geographical regions and industry sectors. Mining companies in South America expressed interest in steam boilers designed for high-altitude conditions, while food processing companies in North America inquired about equipment for specialized applications. Each new market segment required customization capabilities that larger manufacturers couldn't match economically. Technology transfer agreements with friendly countries created opportunities for establishing manufacturing facilities in other regions while maintaining Burkina Faso's control over core technologies. These partnerships allowed rapid market entry while generating licensing revenues and strengthening diplomatic relationships. The success story attracted international media attention that transformed perceptions of African industrial capabilities. Major business publications featured cover stories about Burkina Faso's achievement, while documentary filmmakers produced programs about the transformation from agricultural economy to industrial powerhouse. This publicity generated additional business opportunities and investment interest. Environmental sustainability became an important differentiator as customers increasingly prioritized equipment that minimized environmental impact. Burkina Faso's steam boilers incorporated advanced combustion technologies that reduced emissions while improving fuel efficiency. These environmental advantages supported premium pricing in markets with strict environmental regulations. Service network expansion created comprehensive support capabilities that spanned multiple continents. Regional service centers staffed by trained technicians could respond quickly to customer needs while maintaining inventory of common spare parts. This global service capability matched or exceeded offerings from established manufacturers while providing cultural and linguistic advantages in many markets. As production volumes continued growing, economies of scale reduced manufacturing costs while improving profitability margins. These financial improvements allowed increased investment in research and development activities that would maintain Burkina Faso's competitive advantages over the long term. The project's success had transformed Burkina Faso's international reputation from a struggling West African nation to a recognized industrial power capable of competing with established manufacturing centers worldwide. Yet Ibrahim understood that maintaining this position would require continuous innovation, market expansion, and strategic investments to stay ahead of competitors who were finally taking the African challenge seriously. 2 years after the first commercial steam boiler rolled off the production line in Koudougou, Ibrahim Traoré stood before the United Nations General Assembly in New York, delivering a speech that would reshape global understanding of African industrial potential. The young leader who had once been dismissed as another military coup leader was now recognized worldwide as the architect of one of the most remarkable economic transformations in modern history. The assembly hall fell, silent as Ibrahim began speaking about Burkina Faso's journey from agricultural dependence to industrial powerhouse. Behind him, a massive screen displayed images of the Koudougou facility, Indonesian installations, and satisfied customers from dozens of countries who had chosen Burkina Faso steam boilers over established international competitors. 3 years ago, experts said African countries could never compete in sophisticated manufacturing markets. Ibrahim declared, his voice carrying clearly through the packed auditorium. Today, Burkina Faso exports industrial equipment to 47 countries across 6 continents, generating over $2 billion in annual revenue while creating prosperity for our people. The statistics were staggering even to those who had followed the project's development closely. Burkina Faso had captured 12% of the global steam boiler market, making it the 4th largest manufacturer worldwide, behind only Germany, China, and the United States. More remarkably, customer satisfaction ratings consistently exceeded those of established competitors, with repeat purchase rates reaching unprecedented levels. Dr. Sanogo watched the speech from the Technical Institute in Koudougou, where over 3,000 students from 68 countries were studying advanced manufacturing techniques. The facility had evolved far beyond steam boiler production to become a comprehensive industrial research center, developing technologies for renewable energy, water treatment, and sustainable manufacturing processes. The ripple effects throughout Africa had exceeded even Ibrahim's ambitious projections. Inspired by Burkina Faso's success, governments across the continent launched similar industrial development initiatives. Nigeria established advanced petrochemical equipment manufacturing, while Kenya developed precision agricultural machinery production. A continental industrial revolution was underway, with Burkina Faso providing the template and often the technical expertise. International partnerships had evolved into strategic alliances that positioned Burkina Faso at the center of global supply chain networks. The company maintained manufacturing facilities in Brazil, India, and South Africa, while research centers in Germany and Japan developed next-generation technologies. These partnerships provided access to markets and expertise while maintaining Burkinabe control over core intellectual property. The original competitors who had dismissed Burkina Faso's entry into steam boiler manufacturing now faced a transformed competitive landscape. Several established companies had lost significant market share, while others had been acquired by more adaptive competitors. The industry had been permanently changed by the African challenge that few had taken seriously initially. Innovation continued at an accelerated pace as Burkina Faso's research teams developed revolutionary technologies that set new industry standards. Smart steam boilers equipped with artificial intelligence could optimize performance automatically, while predicting maintenance needs weeks in advance. These capabilities had become standard features that competitors struggled to match. The economic transformation of Burkina Faso was visible throughout the country. Modern highways connected industrial centers, while new universities focused on engineering and technology, attracted students from around the world. Rural communities benefited from improved infrastructure and employment opportunities created by the expanding industrial base. Environmental leadership became another competitive advantage, as Burkina Faso developed the world's most efficient steam boiler designs. Advanced combustion technologies reduced emissions by 40% compared to traditional equipment, while innovative heat recovery systems improved fuel efficiency dramatically. These environmental benefits commanded premium pricing in markets with strict sustainability requirements. Workforce development had created a new generation of highly skilled African engineers and technicians whose expertise was sought by companies worldwide. Rather than losing talent to emigration, Burkina Faso had become a destination for ambitious young people seeking careers in advanced manufacturing and engineering. The financial success had transformed government budgets, allowing massive investments in education, healthcare, and infrastructure that improved living standards for all citizens. Foreign debt had been eliminated entirely, while foreign currency reserves reached levels that provided economic stability and independence from international lending. Institutions' market expansion continued into new sectors and applications as customers recognized the superior quality and service provided by Burkina Faso's manufacturing organization. Power generation companies, chemical processors, and food manufacturers increasingly specified Burkina Faso equipment for new projects, while existing customers expanded their relationships through additional purchases. Regional integration had created the African Industrial Union, a trade organization that facilitated technology sharing and market development across the continent. Burkina Faso served as the coordinating center for this initiative, which had attracted participation from 34 African countries and generated billions of dollars in intra-African trade. The service network had evolved into a global organization providing comprehensive industrial support services beyond steam boiler maintenance. Customers could access consulting services, training programs, and technical support for various industrial applications. This expanded service offering generated substantial recurring revenues while strengthening customer relationships. Technology licensing had become a significant revenue source as companies worldwide sought access to Burkina Faso's innovations. Rather than competing directly with licensees, Ibrahim's organization focused on continuous innovation that maintained technological leadership while generating royalty income from older technologies. International recognition continued, with Ibrahim receiving honorary degrees from prestigious universities and industrial leadership awards from various organizations. More importantly, Burkina Faso had gained permanent membership in international standards, organizations, and trade associations that shaped global manufacturing practices. The success story had inspired a new generation of African entrepreneurs who saw possibilities where previous generations had seen only limitations. Business schools throughout Africa taught case studies based on Burkina Faso's achievement, while government leaders studied the policies and strategies that had enabled such remarkable transformation. As Ibrahim concluded his United Nations address, the standing ovation lasted over 5 minutes, an unprecedented response that reflected global recognition of what had been accomplished. The young captain who had seized power in a military coup had proven that visionary leadership combined with determination and strategic thinking could transform not just individual countries but entire continents. The Burkina Faso steam boiler project had achieved far more than commercial success. It had demonstrated that African countries could master the most sophisticated technologies, compete successfully in global markets, and build sustainable industrial economies that provided prosperity for their people. Most importantly, it had changed global perceptions of African capabilities while inspiring similar achievements throughout the developing world. Standing at the podium in New York, Ibrahim looked toward a future where African industrial leadership would be recognized as normal rather than exceptional. The steam boiler project had been just the beginning of a transformation that would reshape global economic relationships for generations to come.